Hey, it's Timo here and welcome to this week's productivity video tip. I wanted to talk about something which I would like to call a New Year's resolution effect and how to prevent it. In this video we are going to talk about first what is a New Year's resolution effect, how to prevent it by using some smart strategies, and I'm also going to include some additional goal setting tips as well. So, what is a New Year's resolution effect? Well, basically, it is a promise without any real intentions behind it. And these kinds of promises are very popular at this time of the year. People love to make New Year's resolutions and promises, but they are not too serious about keeping them. And I think that one of the very good examples of this is going to the gym. So people are very excited to go to gym. They make a New Year's resolution so that they go to gym, and as soon as the January 1st comes, they are very excited and enthusiastic about that. But as soon as we are hitting February, so most of those people they are not going to stick with that goal anymore, and they have given up on that New Year's resolution. So that's basically what this New Year's resolution effect it is. It is just an empty promise, and there is no real intention of keeping it in the first place. Well, there is actually one way to prevent this kind of New Year's resolution effect happening in the first place. So, for example, let's say that you decide that you want to keep yourself fit by running, and then you decide that starting from January 1st next year you start running. So in order to make that goal, and in order to reach that goal, and in order to not to have that as an empty promise, you have to use some smart strategies to make this thing happen. And basically what this smart strategy is, it comes from the different words specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. That's basically what SMART is all about. So specific in this case is that you want to start running 15 kilometers every week, which equals to approximately 9.3 miles every week. That's a very specific way of saying how much you want to run and how much exercising you want to do on a weekly basis. Then the measurable part is that you decide that you want to run 5 kilometers per exercise, which equals to 3.1 miles per exercise or running session. So it is very measurable. You know that when you run through that 5 kilometer route 3 times per week, so you have that 15 kilometers or approximately 9.3 miles of running. The next thing is that since it has to be attainable, you have to give this some little thoughts before you actually decide on your goals. So in this running example, you may be thinking that, okay, I could be running like 15 kilometers per week, or I could be running 50 kilometers per week. But do you really think that 50 kilometers is really something that you are able to do on a weekly basis? Rather, is that 15 kilometers much more realistic, so that you are able to do it. So that's basically what you have to keep in mind when you are making these goal settings and when you are planning your goals, is it something that you are able to do it, or are you trying to reach the moon out of the sky? And basically that's the next point as well, is that the realistic is that, is it something doable? Are you able to do it 3 times per week, or are you able to do it 5 times per week? Which one suits you the best, running 3 times per week or 5 times per week? And in most of the cases, and especially if you haven't done any running before, so that 3 times per week is much more preferable way of starting out than trying to have too much running in 1 week. So it has to be realistic as well. And finally, you want to do this, or this goal has to be timely, which means that you want to do it on a weekly basis. And especially when you start out, you may be thinking that, okay, well, maybe I'm not that fit to run 3.1 miles at once. So you might decide that you start out by running 1 mile, and then you increase the amount of miles bit by bit. But yes, it has to be timely as well. So in this case, you want to do it on a weekly basis. And then I have some additional goal setting tips here. What you could do is that instead of having too many goals that you are trying to reach, try to have a certain set of goals, maybe 1 or 2 goals, 1 goal or 2 goals that you are able to achieve. And you could try to use 80-20 rule to identify your core goals. And inside of those 20% goals, which equals those important goals, you try to identify certain 20% tasks, which equals the most important tasks, which in turn improves your progress considerably. So let me give you an example of this. When I wrote down my goals for the next year, 2012, I came to realize that I have plenty of different goals in different categories. I have something for the business, something related to hobbies, something related to family life, and things like that. And I came to realize that one of the most important things that I want to achieve next year is building my self-confidence. And I came to understand that when I reach that goal, it is going to serve me on these different categories much better than trying to have 20 different goals and barely reaching them. So I decided that I want to focus on this one particular goal the best way possible, and when I'm able to reach it, that basically reaching that goal serves other areas as well. So if it's ever possible, try to find 1 or 2 goals, and when you reach them, so they basically serve those other areas in your life. So that's what I want you to do. Think this a little bit, and maybe you find this certain core goal that you want to achieve. 1 or 2 goals instead of having 20 goals. And related to this, as I was mentioning about the self-confidence goal that I have for the next year, so that's basically the theme for 2012. So I want to have a certain theme that I want to have all year long. So I'm working consistently towards having a better self-confidence. So that's basically what this theme is all about. And obviously the last thing what you want to do is that don't keep your goals to yourself. So try to have an accountability buddy, for example, so that you are able to keep your status reports. And that is actually a great way of when you keep yourself accountable, that's basically a great way of improving and making progress on a consistent basis. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say for now, and this is the last video for 2011, and I truly hope that you found these tips valuable, and I will talk to you next year. Bye bye.